Welcome, everybody, to this edition of Soul Smart. And I'm so excited because today we're going to be talking about a brand new product that Soul Naturals just released maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm excited because I've been able to work behind the scenes with this formula for about 2 years now, and I have just been chomping at the bit to be able to share with you and be able to use this to help our clients to feel better. So, with this, we're going to jump in and get started. But first of all, we want to hear from our very own Miss Debbie.
Hi, I'm Debbie. I'm 66 years old. I've never really had the strong menopausal symptoms, but I had noticed in the past years that it was hard to fall asleep and stay asleep. It was very interrupted sleep. I started using VibrantSea a little less than a week ago when we had access to purchasing it. And I've noticed as soon as I got home that I was able to fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer, not any interrupted sleep. Another benefit that I've noticed is that I was on a long trip and I didn't gain any weight because my sweet and salty cravings are practically non-existent. So anyway, I hope that helps you. I'm excited to see future results on VibrantSea.
So, this formula is so exciting for simple things like being able to sleep almost 7 hours straight uninterrupted. When you've gone through and menopause and postmenopause, where I am, that sleep starts getting even just as precious as it did when our children were infants. But in fact, I myself went through in a perimenopause, actually, I was in menopause, about a 6 week period of only sleeping a couple hours a night. It was some of the worst insomnia I've ever had. So I will tell you that since being on the vibrancy, I'm getting um, sleeping longer, I'm sleeping deeper, I'm waking up more rested, and that is exciting. So, what are some of the key benefits of this new vibrancy formula? Number one, supporting hormonal balance. And keep in mind as we're talking about this, even though we're going to have talk about perimenopause and menopause, this formula is for men as well because they have andropause, they have life as well. And really, our real calling is to recognize the need for this product, whether you're male or female, and no matter what stage of life you're in, because those hormones need help in being supported. Normal vitality, normal energy being supported that way. Mental clarity. The mental clarity with this formula is impressive. I've noticed a major leveling up in my clarity of mind and just really dialed in. And I've always been that way, but it's substantially different. Now I know I've had thyroid challenges in my life and in my family. So I attribute a part of that to how the thyroid is being supported. General heart health being strengthened, uh, boosting the immune function because of our antioxidants we have in this formula. Skin and joints. I've gotten multiple people reaching out talking about how they realized that their hip pain had disappeared or different joint pain that had started coming on that was due to they thought to just the hormonal changes with going through change of life. And it very well could be. And it could be because how this supports hormonal balance, but also the essential fatty acids in this formula from our Icelandic kelp blend is powerful. And then we're going to talk in depth more about how this supports thyroid health in general. We have long needed a formula that was loaded with good iodine, very bioavailable, and with dulse and our three types of kelp that we have, it is extremely easy for the body to use, and it is very important for not only hormonal balance, but also for metabolism and overall wellness. So let's dive in a little bit more into the ingredients. The Icelandic kelp is, we've got three different variations: the Laminaria digitata, Laminaria hyperbia globulus, and Ascophyllum nodosum. And you can see across the board that these do things like supporting your digestion, blood sugar support. Who would have thought that a kelp could come in and do that? Skin protection, what they call abnormal cell management. So helping the system to replicate like it's supposed to. 47 essential fatty acids in the not Laminaria hyperborea globulus, that form of kelp. 47 and essential fatty acids are just utilized all over the body. It talks about how this supports with brain function, skin health. I've noticed that some of the breaking out on my face, which I had never even had as a teenager, but had started in the last year or two, um, and I'm 61 at this point, has completely cleared up and disappeared since I started this formula. And then kelp also helps with the mood support. And then our final variation of kelp is also very high in the iodine, again supporting metabolic regulation, mood support, blood sugar support, neuroprotective. We want it coming in and protecting the nervous system. And then actually helping to break down fat. So not only just giving energy, but helping to break down fat. And then overall wellness. Now, where I grew up in the Midwest, we always do that across the Midwest. It was kind of referred to as, the goiter belt. And this is a big chunk of the United States, Missouri, Kansas, moving on north all the way up. So it's very wide, but basically states that are farther away from the ocean that don't have access to fresh fish and seafood that are high naturally in the iodine. So I grew up being aware that to get excellent support for the thyroid, that kelp was something that we turn to. So this is another reason I'm so excited to have kelp. Now, dulse is the other seaweed that we would look to. And again, it's high in iodine. It definitely supports the thyroid. It has a lot that it does for the heart, bone strength, and vision. And what we find is when you see the breakdown of the plants in this formula, you're going to see that this formula is loaded not only with iodine and minerals and trace minerals. In fact, the kelps are loaded with so many minerals, so mineral dense, extremely mineral dense. But that we've got B vitamins and such as this. So things that are really going to come in and support the system. And then Asian ginseng. When we were doing this formula, one of the reasons that I wanted this was because it came in and it supported boron actually in the system. So boron we'll look at and the value of that. But Asian ginseng is been researched so much, and it has been known for how it really supports chronic fatigue or long-term being tired. That type of fatigue that doesn't just come from being up late the night before, but it goes on for day after day or month after month or year after year, where you just feel like you can never get caught up. General longevity. So it's supportive of aging well and having long life. And again, supporting hormone balance and then mood support. So you're seeing a theme as to the plants that we chose to come in and support the hormones, which is the thyroid plays a major role in this. And this is one of the reasons that we were put a label on this saying that it worked for thyroid support. And like I said, this formula is not just for women. In fact, my husband is using it. And then our friend Eric offered up a testimony. So let's hear what Eric had to say.
Hi, I'm Eric, and I want to talk to you today about VibrantSea from Solle Naturals. I got it within a couple of days of it coming out, and I started taking it immediately. Within days, I'm talking 2 or 3 days, I started to feel more energy, more vibrancy, and overall a better healthy feeling. What's amazing about this product is that it's powered by ocean plants, which means that it's rich in nutrients and all kinds of other minerals and vitamins that your body needs. It is a fantastic product for your thyroid, but it's also going to help with so many other hormones and other things that your body needs. At my age, anything that I can do to help me feel better and feel more energy is wonderful. I recommend you give VibrantSea a try.
Can't tell, Eric looks very vibrant and he just is. He has noticed very quickly, as he said, a difference and an impact. And I love, because not all products do we notice quick turnarounds on, but across the board, we're seeing this with a lot of people. And I think it's because the thyroid is so in need of support. This is something that I'm very quickly believing that all people need because the minerals are so important. Now, let's talk a little bit deeper into minerals. A lot of people know that minerals are kind of my sweet spot. I love minerals. And let's talk about why they matter. And they matter because they either drive or contribute to nearly all chronic disease. And what I mean by that is minerals are involved in all the cell, all the interactions, all the operational procedures that happens within the cell. And so therefore, if you are low and missing out on a mineral or depleted, then you can't function as properly. In fact, minerals, there's 64 minerals that our body depends upon having, and they're so key that when the body can't find what it needs, it will substitute other ingredients or maybe not the first choice of a mineral, a different variation or a synthetic variation because it needs to be able to get in and do the work that the body's requiring. But when that happens, it creates like a cellular chaos because it's similar but not quite the same. And the body can spot a fake or spot what it doesn't need. And so when we bring in these minerals properly, then the body gets all excited. So a great example of this you will hear about when we get to talking about the boron. So there's three minerals I want to concentrate on because these three minerals have been shown. They're kind of ones that I see a lot of issues with people and their health. And I want to talk about some of the data about deficiencies with them. In a survey that was National Health and Nutritional Examination Survey done in 2010 and also done by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, they found that 50 to 60% of Americans were deficient in potassium. Boron, that number rises to 75%. And then when we get to iodine, a lot of people are familiar with Dr. Brownstein, David Brownstein, and his work. He's written multiple books on iodine, the importance of it, and he has done a lot of delving in. And so he references that he's now tested iodine levels in over 6,000 patients, and his results have been consistent. Approximately 96% of the patients test low for iodine. This is the reason that I believe that this is a formula that most everyone can benefit from because chances are you are going to be deficient in iodine. So what do these minerals, why do they even matter in our system? Well, what do they do? Let's look at potassium in particular. Potassium is really important for supporting muscle strength and endurance. It's going to help that heart and that function. Nerves to fire. We need those nerves to fire, whether it's responding to be able to move or thinking. It helps support and boost our recovery and resilience, whether that's from injury, from stress, just being able to pivot. Helps improve body efficiency. Also supports and aid in aiding the body in detoxification and elimination. I believe that's also because it promotes an alkaline balance, which helps acids to leave the body. When you help acids to leave the body, you often reduce your pain and discomfort. Potassium is known to help get that vitality and that energy going, and it feeds the hair, nerves, and tissues. Now, boron and that potassium is found in our kelps and our dulse primarily in this formula. It's found in other items as well, but those are the big players. Our boron, our big player, is the Asian ginseng. Now, as women, we often know about the importance of having boron supported in order to help prevent osteoporosis. But its reason it's important is because it helps the body use its calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D more efficiently. Boron is also involved in the hormone regulation, our brain being able to think, joint health, gut health, beauty and skincare, helps the body be more resistant to radiation. Now, when we go back to cognitive function, remember how I told you how the body would substitute when it didn't get the mineral that it needed? Well, what the body will substitute for boron when it can't get it with is aluminum. And we all know that aluminum and how it impacts the brain can tie into decline in cognitive function. So when we get the proper form in, the body's going to go, oh, let's have this instead, and it can help it to boost that other out. Now, iodine, this literally is just a partial list. There's so many conditions that are helped and supported with iodine. This comes from Lynn Farrow's book, The Iodine Crisis. As you see, we talked, there's brain fog again, supporting that brain. The skin, cysts and nodules. Whenever I would have women present to me over the years that had challenges with, oh, nodules, or whether it was lymphatics, whether it was in the breast, whether it was, the density in there, iodine, as in like kelp or dulse, was something that always seemed to people would find improvement when they added that in. It was very common. So in general, fatigue across the board with any type of menstrual irregularity, weight gain. Yeah, when you're low in iodine, then the thyroid is more in that hypo or underactive state, which is going to impact your metabolism. There's what I was talking about: fibrocystic brain disease, feeling cold, depression, helping the heart to be more balanced out, long-standing infections, fibromyalgia, prostate for a man, helping support the prostate health, very important. So what you're noticing is it's going to those reproductive areas. Vaginal infections helps with your resistance to cold and flus. And then, of course, increased libido. When you support that thyroid, it has such a major role in how it impacts the health overall in the body of both of hormonal health and in brain. So astaxanthin is another ingredient that we have in this formula. And astaxanthin comes from this red algae, and it supports eye health, skin, just helps support the skin in general. And when we look at neurological and brain function support, it's really not a surprise to find out that this ORAC value, which apparently I decided to spell as ORAX, but anyhow, ORAC value is 100 to 500 times higher than what's in vitamin E. That is very, very high. So it's helping that, um, helping to remove the rust, shall we say, out of the system. Very powerful. And then we have spirulina. Spirulina has been known as this such nice food source because it has lots of protein in it. It's got your fats, and across the board, it's a tonic. It supports the system in general, helping to support the body to find its own health and to balance it out, whether it's coming in with the heart and then the circulation. People have used it for allergies. People have used it for chronic disease. So I always want to make certain that people understand the value that a formula brings to, especially something like this, where a lot of people are going to be talking about the benefits that they found with it for peri and postmenopause. But for men as well, whether they're in andropause or not, across the board, this becomes very beneficial. And so I thought a side-by-side general comparison might help to understand that. You see, it's similar all the way down with where it supports from thyroid and adrenals, mood support, cognitive for the brain, energy and metabolism, hormonal balance. But then what it shifts to is the reproductive area. So breast, ovaries, and uterus for a woman and prostate for a man. And then libido across the board. And so iodine has its affinity first for the thyroid in the body, and then it shifts to the reproductive organs. And it is used in other areas of the body as well, but these are two areas that really depend on having a good source of iodine. So looking at VibrantSea for the nutritional profile highlights, you see, look at the spirulina with all those B vitamins, the inositol, niacin, pantothenic acid, things that I used when I had extreme adrenal exhaustion decades ago. And it feeds the nervous system so well. You see some of the different vitamins and minerals, and then your different types of GLAs and ALAs. Our Icelandic kelp blend has almost all the vitamins for a B complex, and it contains virtually every mineral and trace mineral needed by the human body. It is absolutely loaded. So it was easier to say that rather than list. Like I said, we need 64 for the body. Astaxanthin is very high ORAC value. For dulse, we've got the iodine, iron, we've got beta carotene, which is the precursor to vitamin A, which is the form that we like to have it in, because then the body can transfer over to vitamin A the amounts that it needs. And then our Asian ginseng root, we talked about it with boron, but it's also high in germanium, which is another trace mineral. Very important. And so let's take a moment and let's hear from Chris.
Hey guys, Chris Hedrick here, and I'm here about VibrantSea. This thing is amazing. The first 5 days I took one a day, and since Ignite from doing this, I have dropped another 7 pounds. When you fill the nutritional gaps, your body works like it's supposed to, and it's unbelievable. So I didn't feel depressed, didn't feel like I wanted to sleep, and so about 3 days ago, I bumped it to 2 a day, and I have my life back, and I am forever grateful. Who knew filling the gaps would get clarity and everything back in place? Love it.
What a statement to make. I have my life back. So as we wrap up, I just want to say minerals aren't just nutrients. They are the spark, the structure, and the stability behind every genetic expression. VibrantSea is just that, a formula designed to help bring vitality and that vibrancy back into your life.